Welcome to Rein It In. This is Matt.
And I'm Rachel. So sorry it's been so long. Be prepared here for a even more freewheeling and wide-ranging episode than usual,
Yep.
as we are tired people.
Yep.
But we really wanted to get a podcast in because it's been so long, mostly due to having a really sick cat and
Yeah.
all of our energy going towards our jobs and our care of pet.
Yeah. So for those that know us and have followed some of the stuff, we have a cat named Laszlo. He's FIV positive. He's a great little guy. He's a jerk sometimes.
Adorable.
He's had a little bit of cancer this year. We went through some treatments. He's doing better-ish. So it's
But
made
he's
travel
just
a little
like,
bit difficult.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, whatever. He got really attached to us, as most people's pets did, I think, during the pandemic, right?
Yep.
So leaving him was harder. Stress is harder on his lack of immune system. And then, like, the cancer just sort of, like, made that even more extreme. So,
Right. But we've got a cat sitter staying with him for the week that we're traveling here. We are currently in Colorado, and he's doing pretty good. So,
I
yeah.
mean, the most recent picture, he looked like his normal little self. So I feel optimistic that we will be able to do a little bit more travel in general in the future, although we still are very like worried and fussy when we're away from him.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we're doing a follow-up to an episode from a little bit over a year ago about building a tiny house. Because guess what? That tiny house is built.
Yeah, we're sitting in it right fucking now.
We are.
Yep.
And it's amazing, and we love it a lot. So we're going to talk you through,
Yeah, what the hell are we talking about today?
I mean, some of the, I guess, choices that
Sure.
we made in making it. We talked about, like, when we did the first episode, like, kind of the logic behind, why we chose the plans we did and stuff. But
Yeah, we'll give a quick refresh about why we're building a tiny house, how we can build a tiny house.
also, it's not, like, officially a tiny house because it's over 500 square feet. So the name, my friends, is The Little Gem.
That's right. Building a tiny house or a small house, a little gem, whatever you want to call it. Not something I ever thought was in the cards. Like I've never been someone who thought I would own a second home.
Yeah, and it is actually a whole home, which is the kind of one of the wildest things about it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's 500 square feet, so it's a home.
Yeah.
It's not a big home.
So the reason why we did this and the reason we could do this is first of all, Rachel's folks have property in the western slope of Colorado.
Right. So we
And
didn't have to.
we'll get to that. Yeah. So
Sure.
I didn't want to cut you off. I'm sorry. But so they own property on the western slope of Colorado. They built their dream home like 6, 7 years ago, and it is beautiful. It is fantastic. It is a 1,000 square feet, 1 bedroom home.
Right.
And so when we visit, we end up needing to stay in not a particularly great hotel,
Right.
or at an Airbnb. And if we stay at an Airbnb,
It's often like at least 20 minutes away.
yeah,
Because it's rural here. The hotel is 10 minutes away, maybe, and not great. The Airbnbs are further away than that. And I mean,
sometimes expensive. And
like often quite nice, but
Yeah.
but then when you get done having a glass of wine in the evening, you have to get in your car and drive.
or you don't
like,
have a glass of
a
wine in the
ways.
evening because you want to be able to drive home. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And for those who haven't lived in Colorado, especially the Western Slope, just anywhere in the Mountain West, like crap is big out here. And so it'd just be nicer to be, if we were going to visit, to be able to have someplace to stay. And Rachel's folks occasionally have some other family and friends that come through. And we wanted to have an opportunity to have a place for like some of our friends to stay.
Right. Yeah. Just just making it easier. And my parents are getting older.
I mean, they're still freaking spry.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not like nobody's like got a foot in the grave or anything, but I thought, if someone ever has a health problem and I need to go out there, like, what am I going to do, right? Am I going to stay in the hotel in town? And and have to like, or am I going to sleep on the couch? Like neither of those seemed very,
Right. And the thing to keep in mind here too, we've talked about this before, I'm pretty sure Rachel doesn't drive.
right. So,
So
I
a
mean, and,
10-minute drive to a hotel is a 45-minute walk.
I mean, extraordinary circumstances, I would certainly, make some changes, but
Yeah.
like I, very much prefer to just to be able to be right here if I need to, right? But also it's just I don't know. I mean, it's really nice to also now know that there's this weird place that's here for us where if like everything in our normal Atlanta life goes to total shit, like
Yeah. I mean,
we've got a backup plan.
well, there was a period of time in like January when I was really struggling with work. And so the little gym was about halfway complete at that point. And Rachel was like, well, if everything goes to shit, like we have a place to live.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
entirely paid for.
that's what we'll talk about here next, right? I didn't mean to cut you off earlier, but how do you do something like this? How do we
Right.
do something like this, right?
Right.
Like we're both fully employed. We've been able to like have pretty minimal real health problems. We spent a lot of money on the cat health problems.
Oh my God.
But and that was all after this majority of the investment in this had happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. But also, yeah, I mean, I'm able to take on some extra work occasionally that like helps supplement things like the cancer treatments. But that's not really what we're necessarily here to talk about. So,
Right, yeah.
but we didn't have to buy the land, right? And that's
Right.
that's of course like anywhere
huge
that's
piece
the
of it.
number one probably expense, especially in Colorado, right? In a desirable location.
Yeah.
And this didn't used to be a super desirable location, but it is increasingly more so since they have gotten high-speed internet in this part of the world.
I bet marijuana just being in Colorado
Yeah,
as
that
well.
helps a lot too. So,
But it's bonkers. We are in rural Colorado. We are an hour and 15 minutes from Grand Junction Airport. The next municipality, which would be considered a city, is like 30 minutes away. And the folks have gigabit Ethernet.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
gigabit fiber, rather. And they've had it for like 4 or 5 years or something.
No, it hasn't been quite
Maybe
that
it's
long, but
3,
it's been
yeah.
probably 3, yeah.
So better than we have in Atlanta. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, you can get gig fiber in Atlanta. We personally can't get gig fiber in Atlanta because of the community we live in. But
Right. So it's been property has changed and stuff, but like my parents have owned this property for probably 30 years. They've only recently built a house on it. There's been a vineyard on it for a long time, and that's a vineyard, not a winery. So they grow grapes, but they don't have a fancy tasting room for the tourists. Yeah, I mean, it's just been this sort of like it was always their like dream to build this place and retire here, and it's great that they were able to make that dream come true and then do it in a 1-bedroom sort of way.
yeah. And the
'Cause this is better than having a guest bedroom in your parents' house.
no shit, right? Yeah, we came back and like anyway. So, but the other piece that helped again, just so fortunate. Like, don't want to understate how fortunate this is. We're building this in collaboration with her folks, so
Right.
it's a joint investment on their property. But they had some amazing foresight when they built their house that they got a water tap that could handle 2, maybe 3 buildings.
Yeah.
So, and then also we're a little bit downhill from them. We've got a pump that pumps our waste
Wastewater.
up into their septic field. So not having to dig a new septic field, not having to pay for a second tap was probably like saved us like $20,000 from
I
what
would
it
say
sounded like.
closer to 40.
Was it that much? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
a
right.
water tap is like 35 potentially.
Because as you might have read in the news, water is
Scarce.
a little bit scarce, right?
Yeah,
This
in
is
the West.
more or less a desert. But so that made this reasonable, right? What
Right.
we're doing is we're building a structure, and in that structure we need to put some stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we did.
So that's like how we went about it and why we went about it.
That's really mostly why.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, we both just love Colorado.
yeah, we do. I love being out here. I mean, and this is it's a very different feel than Denver, which is probably the place in Colorado that people are most likely to have been.
We grew up and met, although we both moved there in our teens or late
Right.
teens, in Fort Collins.
Right. So, I mean, I've lived a few different places in Colorado. I was born out here, but then lived in Denver and lived in Fort Collins. And yeah, it definitely has a very different feel. Which, I mean, that whole like I-25 corridor between Denver and Loveland and Fort Collins is all just sort of one big city at this point.
Whereas here, you're just gonna die if you don't know where you are. I mean, it's not quite true.
Well, I mean,
There's
don't just, like-
highways, there's the
don't
little
just like
towns.
set out walking in a direction.
No,
Yeah, you might
yeah.
not hit anything for a minute.
Yeah.
And there are also like a ridiculous amount of compounds. And so the
Yes.
fact that we have created our own little compound here with like our two structures and then the outbuilding that houses like
There.
workshop, greenhouse, wine production,
Well, home wine production.
wine
yeah.
production. Like it is a little bit garage. Anyway, it's a
Yeah.
little bit like a compound, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
So we're
The area of the country where compounds
like
are
9
cool.
minutes into section 1 here. I think we still have time. We talked about this a while back. I want to give a shout out to we basically bought a kit house,
Yeah, we did.
and that helped us get some of the cost down. Also, we started all this during the pandemic early enough that a lot of the problems with supply chain and inflation hadn't kicked in fully. And then we've also got this weird thing because we're outside of the proper town limits. We didn't have to have
Permits.
inspections or permits. So the house is built to code. It's built by a builder who is well versed in understanding the codes here. We actually like verified some things because this kit house is actually from Washington State, right? Panabode, that's what I'm going to call it. Panabode. We shopped around. We looked at some different ones.
Yeah,
And-
I spent a long time looking at different places, and I looked at a lot of different tiny home manufacturing places. And some of this may be repeated from a year ago, but also you all don't remember that if I don't remember that. We had decided though we definitely didn't want something that was on wheels, and we wanted something that was all one floor, so it didn't have a loft bedroom,
Right.
Because we have, well, I mean, again, like concerns with like if we do end up ever like sort of, well, even just having people stay here, right? Like I don't want my parents having to climb up into a loft to change the sheets, and
Right. Or if we hire someone to clean it, like,
Right.
make it a little easier. The other thing too is things, we are on the side of a giant mesa. The Grand Mesa is maybe even what it's called. And the things are still pretty low. It's wide and open and flat, and we didn't want something tall.
right. Yeah, and I didn't want anything on wheels. I mean, it was sort of like, no,
Yeah, we wanted something permanent.
we're settled. So that kind of excluded a lot of the tiny house manufacturers that are out there that, I mean, even if you're like sort of planning on permanently affixing it somewhere, they still have wheels.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily what we were looking for.
And as cool as those things are on TV, we weren't looking for like a hyper efficiency place, right? Like we didn't want to have to like pull out a wall and like transform the building to like have a place to sleep. We
Right,
wanted it
exactly.
to feel like someplace you could come and relax. And where else was I going with that? Oh, all the shopping you did or all the research you did, like some of those wheel places that were smaller than this were way more expensive.
Yeah, some of them were really expensive. Although, and some of them had very long wait times. But that was sort of like turnkey, right? So they just come and drop it off.
Right, so it was probably delivery and everything.
Right, and
Yeah.
a lot of the furniture I think is included because a lot of it is built in
Yeah.
your kitchen and all of that. So, like, yeah, but it's also, I mean, yeah, one of the places was sort of like, yeah, you're not getting anything before 3 years from now.
Right. Yeah. And so in case Kevin and the Panabode folks are listening to this, strangely, this was our second choice initially. We had started talking to someone else. We had some weird experience with them. And
They
I
just weren't
can,
super responsive,
Yeah.
and they weren't really good at answering questions. And my questions were not super complicated
no.
or strange.
And so I would say our experience at Panabode, fantastic. This is
Yeah.
not a paid for in any way. They don't even know we're recording this.
Nope. But they will.
They were helpful.
Maybe.
And so the reason why the permitting mattered is they work with a lot of people on the West Coast.
California and Washington and Oregon.
And they also work with a lot of people that are much larger homes than we were
yeah.
building.
Yeah, they can build you a 3,000 square foot home in a kit if you want.
Yeah. Oh, more than that, I think. So
Oh yeah.
But when we told them that we didn't need permitting, they were like, oh, well, we can bump you up in the list because we're waiting on a bunch of other stuff to get the buyers to get all the final approvals. So, like, I think between the time that we put the order in and they were done was like a month.
Yeah,
that they
it
had
was
this house
super
built.
fast. And so the kit comes with all of the exterior, all of the framing, all of the trim, all of the doors, all
Right.
of the ceiling, which is wood in here.
It's also technically a timber frame home.
Right.
So it's got 6 massive beams
Big old beams.
that sit on top of giant posts. And then everything else is just a sheath around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then on site, what you're responsible for is, in terms of construction materials, obviously not like interior fittings, but like, is the drywall,
Insulation.
insulation.
Because by default, these are originally not designed, well, they're probably partially designed, but a lot of times these are built for like 3-season structures. They're cedar homes. They're beautiful, although it's a lot of cedar. We're in Colorado and it gets cold here and it gets really hot here.
Well, it also gets really dry. So our exterior is not cedar because that
Right.
would be
Yeah.
stupid in this climate.
So we went with some different things that in some cases saved us money, in some cases cost a little bit extra money.
Right.
It all balanced out pretty well. But yeah, so it's timber frame home. You see giant beams in the ceiling. We're looking at them right now in the living room. It's kind of a great room. Maybe we should leave that for the next part, but I'll say that, yeah, working with them was great. They delivered it. And actually they were so quick that it took us a couple months to be able to start building it. We had a
Yeah.
builder lined up, but he was busy with some other things.
Right.
And then they got the structure up in no time. They said it was amazing. The builder is actually talking about building one of these himself
For
on
his
own
own
property.
yeah.
And then we ran into the slowdowns of supply chain and some other problems. And
Ducting.
it was months and months before we get ducting and some other things that
Yeah.
needed to happen. It all came together though.
It did. It took a lot longer than we expected, but I mean, still, it's only been we recorded our first podcast about this basically over July 4th weekend in 2021. So, the whole thing from sort of delivery to, us being in here today, with, artwork on the walls and tablecloths on the table. And
In the second half, I want to talk about how you went about designing what you wanted to do in here and how some of the finishing came together, things we did this week while we've been out here. Before we do the transition, though, I did want to call out. So we've been able to do this because we've, been fortunate enough to be able to make some sound financial, patterns in our lives. We own one car.
Right.
That car that we had, the first car that we bought new, we had for 14 years. We've not had a car payment in forever. We bought our home in Atlanta, which is a condo, or not a condo, a townhouse. It was within our means, and I was super fortunate to not have student loans.
Right.
Rachel's
this is
are
also what
manageable.
lets us travel, right?
Right.
I mean, and we did this, money that we would have normally put towards travel during the pandemic.
Right. And this comes from
went towards
privilege. This
this.
comes from
Oh, yeah,
privilege
for
because
sure.
I was fortunate enough to have divorced parents who were able to both pay for half of my education before education got ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. You went to college in
And-
the 90s when the cost was very different than
Yeah.
it is today.
So we've been able to do that. But however, we got into this and this has been significantly more expensive than anybody
Yeah.
imagined.
For sure.
I was watching a recent YouTube video about some guy who bought a like an apartment in Paris, and he said his mom said like, whatever you think your budget is, multiply that by 4. And I was like, well, oh crap, that's about right.
Yeah, it does
So
feel about right. Some of that is like changes in cost from COVID, but some of it really is just that we made some different choices, right? We were going to do kind of slab foundation and mini splits, and then ended up deciding to put in a furnace.
yeah,
And
we
a
were going
crawl
to do some
space.
things, not necessarily in the cheap, but definitely inexpensive. And then Rachel's folks helped us realize like, you want this to be more comfortable. You want this to be someplace you could be comfortable in. You know, the bathroom's not going to be freezing cold.
Right.
And so all those little things add up quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And I mean, I like honestly. Well, we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next part, but like, I guess for me, like the first house we bought was when I was in grad school, so I knew we were leaving, right? There was no way we were staying in that town. And so I never wanted to, I invested money in it for sure, right? We spent money on the yard and we did, we bought some furniture and stuff, but I was never like, I'm going to buy like really nice stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to make choices that would make good sense for us to sell, that would make responsible choices for whoever the future owners were.
Right. But yeah, I mean, and we didn't have to replace anything major, right? I'm just sort of thinking
Yeah,
like
but we didn't go
finishings.
above and beyond on anything.
No, and I realize just now talking about this, right? Like I've had a similar sort of approach to our house in Atlanta because we were renters in it for 4 years. And then we bought it. We weren't planning on staying in Atlanta long term, and we are now. But like my approach to that house was very different than my approach to this one because that house felt temporary too, right? It was sort of like, especially when it was a rental, right?
But we're thinking like this is maybe a place where we might live in retirement. Maybe not in this house,
Right.
but on this
I meant
property.
the big house,
Yeah.
but
The big house.
the big house, which is like
Yeah.
just like barely twice the size of this one.
But right, I mean, we could pick up and
So
have a different existence.
So, I mean, I made very different like choices in terms of like, oh, the lights I'm going to buy are going to be more expensive than ones that I bought for my
Right.
actual
It wasn't
house.
like it was like cheapest plus one on a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that's been kind of interesting, and it does sort of make me. I mean, it makes me rethink like, some of the things that as we go to remodel our house at home eventually, not remodel, but
As we do future improvements.
future improvements, yeah, because we want to keep living in this affordable, wonderful location.
Yeah, we're making the first section way too long, but
We are.
This kind of sums up our Atlanta house. When we purchased it, we were renting it, and then we purchased it from the people we were renting it from. First thing we did was remodel the master bathroom because it was from the 90s.
It was 1990,
and
fabulous.
It was having some troubles, and so we remodeled that, and we did. It was expensive, but it wasn't terrible. Like we were, we weren't quite house poor, but we were trying to be more economical. And then we remodeled the guest bathroom like 3 years later, and I think we spent more on the guest bathroom, even
spent
though
more
we
on the
reused the
tile.
tub,
Yeah.
and it's half the size. But we bought nicer tile, and everything was a little bit better, and so I think we're slowly doing it.
Yeah.
Also, time passes, and like we've been fortunate enough to have stable jobs that have
Right.
had some pay increases and things
Right.
like that, and so again, just so fucking fortunate.
Right.
This is probably horribly irritating for everybody else. Leave us crappy comments in the in the thing. We encourage them. But anyways, I would like to talk about
you being shitheads to us.
I would love to hear about how you went about doing some of this stuff because Rachel did a fantastic job of designing this. We collaborated on it or we chatted about it, consulted, but really largely tried to let Rachel
I had a vision.
take the lead, and it has really come together awesomely. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break.
We promised you a freewheeling and wide-ranging episode, and so that first bit was a little bit long. The second bit we'll try to keep a little bit shorter.
We're going to make this a 3-hour episode.
Oh my gosh. It's like The Godfather, which the 50th anniversary, is this 50th anniversary?
I don't know.
Anyway, they're showing it in theaters, and neither Matt nor I have ever seen it.
No, we're terrible
And thus we
cinema
should
people.
maybe go see it in the theater. But that's a really
Sure.
long movie to see in the theater. Also, freewheeling, wide-ranging.
Yeah.
So, as I said,
I have this growth. Sorry, I'm just thinking of like what random things we could talk about. I don't have a growth. I mean, I do. It's like my head. But
okay.
anyways, we're gonna move on. Have we mentioned before? We didn't give it an episode. If this is the first time you're listening to this, this is a conversational podcast with two married nerds
Who like to travel
normally when we don't have sick cats or COVID, and we're looking to get back to that at some point.
and build houses, apparently.
Yeah, and it's also a no edit podcast.
Right. So you're getting it all. So anyway, so when we kind of settled on the design of the house with Panabode, then I had to think about like what I wanted the interior to be like. And it was sort of driven by basically two things. One was my uncle had passed away, and through that I inherited a couple of pieces of artwork. And by inherited, I mean I fought very hard for them. They're not amazing pieces of artwork, but they have a lot of like sentimental value
Hey,
for
that
me.
makes them amazing.
And they're interesting, right? They're sand paintings, so they're
Different.
They're made out of colored sand, right?
We are. I think, is Colorado considered the Southwest? I think this is.
Part of Colorado is
Yeah,
for sure.
you're right. Yeah, I think it's a somewhat controversial thing that.
I mean, we're much closer to, New Mexico and Arizona than we are to Wyoming or
True.
Nebraska.
But like Cincinnati or whatever says they're the gateway to the South. But I think people in the South are like.
Right across the way is Kentucky.
True. Nobody wants to take responsibility for them.
Anyway, so I fought really hard for these sand paintings that I have this nostalgia for. And once I knew I was getting those, it was like, they're clearly not going to go in my Atlanta house.
We should also point out these are probably 2 foot by.
They're about 24 by 36 in size. Like,
Yeah,
they're
about.
large.
Yeah.
I measured them today. I could tell you exactly, but I won't. So they're big paintings, right? Pieces. I mean, they're not really painted. They're made.
Is that sand painting? I don't know. The
made with
painting's
glue,
right in the name. Anyway, I don't know if I would know what a sand painting is. You look it up on the internet, but I think you must put down some sort of glue adhesive and you sprinkle paint on it or sand on it.
Sand, different colors of sand.
Yeah, and this was a neighbor of theirs from
Right.
Arizona.
Yeah,
right?
and so like I have seen these paintings like every day in my grandmother's house and my uncle's house since childhood.
I was gonna say literally your entire life, probably.
Right, yeah, every time we would visit, and they're large and prominent, much more large and prominent than any of the other artwork that they had. And so so I knew I had that, and then my folks also had a really nice rug that they were not using.
Yeah.
So I was like, these are the two things, right? I'm going to use this like lovely rug, and I'm going to use these sound paintings, and then I'm going to build the rest of the aesthetic around those two things.
Could we take
as
a
well
freewheeling-
as also being like in the Southwest, right? Like
Yeah.
and sort of building on.
But I would also say this is not a Southwest house, right? It's not like a stereotypical like Santa Fe sort of thing. I would say from someone who could maybe have not the most patience for that type of aesthetic, I think you found a good way of making nods to that in a way that seems interesting, modern. We've also thrown around, what is it, cottagecore?
Yeah, I mean, I had like sort of a Southwest boho kind
Cottagecore,
of thing that I was aiming for. So the bedroom is much more like kind of boho-y. than
There's a
the main
fucking
room.
macrame thing on the wall.
Yep.
It works, but
Yep.
it's
I
kind of
bought-
ridiculous.
I bought lamps to match the macrame
Yeah.
thing. I bought macrame-ish lamps.
So we need to make a freewheeling aside here.
Yeah.
After you're done with this podcast, of course, because you're going to listen all the way to the end. We know it.
Oh, I thought you were saying after
not
I'm
you.
done with it. I
No,
was like,
no,
then
you-
I'm going to
you-
go to bed.
No, dear listeners, after this podcast, do a search on YouTube for rug cleaning.
Oh yeah.
Because Rachel had this rug cleaned, and Rachel's folks went to pick up the rug, have befriended the people who work at the rug cleaning place now.
That's very much my parents' style, which
Yeah.
is cool. But
But they were impressed with sort of the process by which it happens, and it sounds like it was probably similar to what we saw.
oh my god, and they're so like they're not ASMR-y, but like it's the visual equivalent of ASMR, right? Just like watching something like
Have water sprayed on it and go from being disgusting to
steadily get like
spotless.
cleaner
Yeah.
and like yeah, just so anyway, we had that done.
Okay, so you got the
to this
rug.
rug.
You got the paint, the
I
sand
had the rug and
paintings.
the sand painting.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me my like color scheme. Sand paintings have like tans in them and some reds and some greens.
Mm-hmm.
The rug is brown and has these like llamas. That sounds weird. It sounds anyway, it just has some animal figures.
Yeah,
They're
there's
also
somewhere between
reddish.
like fox, llama,
Fox, llama, dog, whatever. I mean, they're abstract.
alpaca. Yeah.
They're abstract. So then I kind of had my color scheme. So our kitchen is all IKEA cabinets. So
Which saved us a bunch of money
yes, and Matt worked really, really hard putting them
this week.
together
Anyway, yeah.
this week.
So we were fortunate. The builder put in the boxes, and we just had to build all the cabinets and doors and drill the.
Right. We made the
Holes.
boxes though previously.
Oh
on a
right, we did.
previous trip.
Yeah. So we put the boxes together. And
yeah, so they had installed those, but we had to put in all the interior fittings this trip, which is a lot of work. And Matt did a really awesome job.
The
And he put all the poles
Yeah.
on.
I'm going to say this real quick. I want another aside. Apologies to the listeners. We didn't really talk about the way the house looks. So
Right, it's a big slanty thing.
yeah, so it's kind of like a wedge.
Yeah, it's like a trapezoid.
Yeah, kind of a no, sure. Is it a trapezoid? Yeah, I guess it is a trapezoid. But usually, I feel like two sides are parallel to the ground or perpendicular to the ground, and then the top is an angle. So the bedroom is in the back. We'll post pictures. Check us out on Instagram
Yeah.
at Rated In
_podcast.
_podcast. And so the ceiling in the back bedroom is like 8 feet tall. And then the ceiling at the front of the main room, the great room or whatever, which is the dining room, living room, kitchen, all in one like 16 by 16 square. They're like 14 feet tall or
Yeah.
something.
So it just angles back, front to back from, basically that 8 feet to the 14 feet. And as you said, the main space is basically 16 by 16.
And why I think we could not have chosen better than Pandabode, besides that they were great to work with. The aesthetic of the house is different than Rachel's folks' house, but echoes it. So their house is basically like two wedges. So it's, I don't know, not really gull wing kind of things, but it's like it goes out two cantilevered sides. And
Yeah.
in their house is a bedroom in the back, in the front is a dining room, kitchen, living room with like a big patio, and they've got big overhangs. We've got a little bit of an overhang.
And we've got a little patio.
And we're kind of, maybe 200-300 feet away from their house, and we're at a slightly different angle to theirs, but so they echo each other, but they don't look like they're trying to mimic each other.
Right, yeah.
And then I would say the inside has a little bit of that too.
Well, we got the plaster to be the same,
Yeah. We have
the same sort of finish.
I'd say we have some similar lighting in the kitchen, especially.
Yeah, we definitely have some similar lighting. The same. It sounds silly. There's a lighting designer. I mean, it doesn't sound silly at all. He's great,
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
and he's done wonderful work.
But he's also friends with
Right,
your
and he's a
stepfather.
friend of the family.
So,
So,
yeah.
so it sounds more fancy than it actually is, except for the lighting itself is very fancy.
Yes. And he,
Just very well done.
yeah,
Right.
like we had some ideas, and he was like, "Nope, you need like something more like this." And
Right.
at the time, it was like, "Oh, come on," but now that it's all together, you're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this works."
Yeah, there's a reason that you're.
And
a
the couple we didn't
professional.
consult on them on are the ones that are totally functional, but you can tell they cause a little more visual
glare.
friction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So IKEA kitchen.
IKEA kitchen, chose green cabinets again to kind of go along with some of the colors that were in the paintings.
Sage. I
Sage,
would
yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
yeah. Not like,
It's like a green gray. Yeah.
Bodarp, gray green. If you want
Yeah.
to look it up on IKEA's website
Yeah, it's
for
also like
some reason.
a matte gray,
Yeah.
or green gray, which I actually really like. There was this plastic film over it to protect the doors while we were putting them in, and it made it this sort of like neon green blue.
Yeah, shiny teal. And
Yeah,
it was
shiny
like,
teal. That's
whoa.
right. Yeah,
It did not look great, but I mean, it was just there to protect it.
right. When we peeled them off, it was like, oh
We put on leather handles.
yeah, yep. I was skeptical of leather handles, but they look pretty good. I think they might get a little patina.
Yeah,
But maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
kind of one of the things that I like about it. So again, as kind of a nod to the
Yeah.
like west southwest.
But it's an efficient kitchen. It is 2/3 of one wall in the great room. We've got a 24-inch stove and a 24-inch fridge, 24-inch microwave,
24-inch sink.
and a 24-inch sink because there's not space for a normal size any of those things.
Right. So everything's small, which is what I mean. You know.
I think the
But,
right
like,
size to this.
but
If
not
you had a
big-
normal size fridge in this room, it would feel huge.
Yeah, and alternately, if you had a 20-inch stove, that feels much smaller, right? It feels like like a sort of
It still feels
doll
like
stove.
yeah. They look like the right proportions to the room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Kevin a long time ago had that like 2-burner stove in his kitchen at one
Right,
point.
yeah.
And it was like a 20 or an 18-inch stove. But it's like a nice looking gas stove.
Yeah.
You found some awesome stuff for the kitchen. But we also have a bunch of like another way we're like making this somewhat cost effective is we're reusing a bunch of stuff that has been
Right.
around Rachel's folks' places. So either like inherited pieces or more important pieces that were purchased by her folks that just don't quite fit into their small
Right. I mean, they
home.
lived in a bigger house and now they live in a smaller house,
Yeah.
but they saved some of the stuff, like this rug. There's some things that my grandfather made. There's a bookcase and a couple tables that are in here. There's some chairs made by local wood people.
What's the name? So if someone wants to look it up. No, we don't need to drop names because we remember it. It's not Munson Brothers.
It
but-
might be Munson Brothers. It's something like that. But anyway, they were just local furniture
Yeah,
makers.
they're kind of funky chairs that look like they've got live edges,
Mm-hmm.
and then some like more milled pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and some just like driftwood almost. It looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
But they work together.
Yeah, they're super fun. So I mean, we reused a lot of stuff too. Like I was like, hey, I
Oh,
have
all the
extra
sheets?
sheets
Yeah.
in my house, like that I, don't use. I have an extra like comforter that it's too hot to use in Atlanta anymore.
Yeah.
So I tried to reuse as much stuff as possible. There's a bunch of like artwork.
Yeah,
again.
all our dishes, all our pots.
All our
We
dishes and
bought
pots and pans.
one new frying pan.
Yeah.
We bought some new utensils. But
So yeah, I mean, like it's expensive, but we tried to like reuse
well, also just
as
so
much
things.
as we could.
Right. The amount of cardboard, well, there's a
God.
cardboard recycling place in town now, so that was nice. But the amount of like plastic and plastic wrap and styrofoam that we threw away totally counteracts anything we reused, but trying to do a little bit of
Yeah,
something.
I mean, yeah, it's, but that's like, I don't know that there's no way around,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way around a lot of that waste, right?
Yeah.
Just because things come wrapped in plastic and styrofoam.
All right, so we're already rounding up on almost as long of a second half. I'm going to say a couple things. I think all of it's a highlight.
Mm-hmm.
The great room, really like the bedroom is like so cozy. We wake up in the morning and it is just relaxing and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Also, living in the middle of nowhere, things are quiet. Like you hear coyotes last night. There is some dogs that bark from a property that's like half a mile away that you can hear.
During the day, though,
Yeah,
they
no,
don't,
not at night.
they don't bark at night.
But you just kind of hear crickets and the wind, the breeze. The thing that doesn't happen in the east is that it was 95 today and now it's probably like 65 and there's this wonderful breeze going through
yeah.
the house.
Especially because unusual for here.
Yeah.
There was a big rain.
So I would say my two highlights, besides everything being a highlight, is I really love the bathroom. The bathroom feels a little spa-like. It breaks some of the pattern of this like Southwest inspired cottagey sort of thing. It's got a little bit more maybe Spanish-y tile, but
a little bit more
monochrome, and dark floor. And you go and it just feels nice as well. I really like you did an awesome job on that. And then the other highlight, and you won't be able to hear this in a podcast, the views from this property are unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean the place that the Panabone structure that we ended up choosing, because they have a bunch of different models, and we actually modified this one slightly to make it a little bit longer, to give us more space in the bathroom.
Which
and
they
a
were also
closet.
awesome about helping us with.
For
Yeah.
sure. But we have two 5x5 windows on the front of the house that are topped by
Like
5x3 windows.
Yeah.
So there's just this huge wall of
windows that
view.
look west.
West.
So we splurged on some fancy like insulated blinds. Necessary.
blinds.
Yeah. Which really help keep the heat load down. But when you open up all the windows, we'll again check out our Instagram on this. We'll hopefully get some good pictures of it tomorrow. There's the massive Grand Mesa in like two whole views of the house, the north side and the west side. The south side looks down the mesa into the valley. You can see the San Juan Mountains. You can't see out the back. There's no windows out the other side, but there's like a cow farm behind us, a former dairy farm. So it's not a great view. It's fine though. And there's also a backhoe in the back,
Oh, right, yeah.
on the south side right now.
Yeah, because there's some work being done.
Yeah.
There's always work being done around here.
But you sit in the couch or sit at the dining room table or you sit in the bed and it's just phenomenal views.
Yeah, the views are amazing.
I mean, this is why your parents bought this property.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they saw something on it, from it, which was the views like 30 years ago. I mean, I remember coming out here with them 30 years ago and it was all thistles and rocks. It was just like, what are you doing? Right? I mean, I was also like 12 or whatever. So,
I mean, there's still parts of it that are kind of grisly.
yeah,
But-
there's still a lot of thistles and rocks
Yeah.
around.
You
And
can
fewer
definitely-
thistles. Actually, there's hardly any thistles.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rocks.
But you look at the main big windows Rachel was talking about and you see grapevines
Yeah. Grapevines,
and a mesa.
flowers, mesa. And
Yeah.
it's a lovely property.
And it's other part that like cannot understate this too as we're wrapping up this episode. Doing this with your folks has been amazing. Like there's for how many things, decisions that need to be made, money involved.
They worked
like,
so hard on it.
They worked unbelievably hard. They made decisions that needed to happen quickly. They did a great job. Could not have happened without them, either financially or with them being on site. So I think we need to thank them as much as anybody else for all this stuff. It's been great, and it's nice to be able to see them. Now the only drawback is we've got 3 sets of parents, and our parents live in 3 entirely different states.
Right.
They're not easy
Fortunately-
to reach. So
Well, I mean, one of them is very easy to reach
Well,
because
one
it's
of
the
them
state
lives-
we live in.
yeah, one of them live, my mom and stepfather live like about an hour north of us. But
So,
yeah,
I mean, that was also one of the reasons to build this place, right? It's like, it's a commitment to get here, right? Like, there aren't direct flights except for in the winter. And so like our pretty efficient flight was 6 hours.
yeah,
So you don't want to just fly that and then go home 2 days later. If I'm flying for 6 hours, I want
Right.
to be like there for a minute.
right, yeah. We need to sort out the internet. We've got some finishing touches to do over the next 6-8 months.
Right.
But it's livable, 100% livable.
It's more than livable. It's
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But when we got here, it was not livable. There were no cabinets on the
No.
thing. There was
There was no bed. There was no, I mean,
yeah,
like we've done a lot in the last week. We got here and everything was a shell, and we're leaving
But,
5 days later.
at the same time,
everything is
so
a
much
house.
was done, right? We had to do some staining. We
It
had to
was
do a
just
little
the
bit of
interior,
painting.
yeah. But I mean, it was like there was no furniture. There was no.
Yeah.
There wasn't finish on a bunch of the
Yeah.
doors and frames.
But our goal, right? Our goal for this trip was we wanted to be able to sleep in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to be able to not have to pee outside.
Right. Yeah, because that was my December trip for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't stay in a hotel, you could stay in the outbuilding, which is heated and nice, but
Right.
doesn't have a toilet
So,
or a bed.
or a bed these days. It used to have a bed. So it was perfect. We got here early enough to put together the bed, to get the bathroom functioning enough. We take showers in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2, we had enough together that we could actually day 1, morning 1, we made coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Morning 2, we actually made some breakfast.
Yep.
And morning 3, we could actually sit down at a table.
Yep.
We did so much this week.
I know, we really did.
We didn't talk about that at all. It's okay.
You don't need to hear about how hard we worked.
More insufferable bullcrap.
Right.
Yeah.
But we did work very hard, and we're very happy with the results. I hope that any of this was interesting to you.
Yeah, if you're interested in building a small home, let us know.
Yeah.
We can tell you what things not to do, what things to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we're in Colorado Matt's in Colorado for another couple days. I'm here for another week. But we're going to have another episode coming to you from Steamboat Springs.
Oh, Rachel's making promises. You know you know what else we made a promise about? Your cryptid trip that we never recorded an episode
I
on,
know.
but life got in the way.
I got back from the cryptid trip and the cat cancer treatment started. I mean,
Right.
it was pretty much immediate, and there was no space in my brain.
Also, spoilers, cryptids are real.
Yep. Jackalopes. That's the Western cryptid.
It's true. All right. Well, thanks for listening this far. Again, try to check out some of the pictures on Instagram if you're interested. If you're listening from Panda Abode, thank you for all the help here. If your friends and family who are listening to this, because we know some friends and family listen to this as well, you've got a place to stay if you get up to the
let us
Western
know.
Slope. Just
You
let us
can
know.
Come check it out.
Other than that, any last parting words?
Thank you for giving us this very long pause. I hope people come back to listening to the podcast. We can record a episode about me going to my first college football game.
Oh yeah, that's right. That'll be September.
I've been in college since 1999.
Yeah.
And I've never been to a college football game.
Yeah, I've been in college or dating / married to someone who works at a college or is in college since 1992. I've never been to a college football game.
Hot damn.
So we're gonna have our first one. We'll try to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was gonna ask something else too, but yeah, hit us up if you want to check out our place. If you're friends and family, we might eventually put this up for Airbnb.
Or hit us up on Instagram to see some pictures because all of our talking about it doesn't necessarily totally do it justice.
All right. Well, thanks for listening and joining us in our crazy adventures.
Yep.
All right. You can check us out at anchor.fm/rainitin. That's spelled REINITIN, all one word, no spaces, and you can leave us a message there. You can also follow us at Instagram at rainitin_podcast or email us at rainitin@ssdpress.org, also spelled REINITIN at ssdpress.org. Thanks again to all of our friends and family for all the support and for putting up with us. Have a great day.